Coming up next on Channel 6 News Live at 5.
The search continues for an Itala teenager here at Nakalula Falls, and it will go around the clock. I'm Kendra Beach, and I'll have a live report from Gaston.
Are you one of those people who's trying to be heart healthy? I'm Laurie Keenard, and coming up on the HealthCast, I'll tell you about some foods that are lower in cholesterol than you might expect.
Many of the kids behind me paid $400 for a trip they almost didn't take. I'm Jonathan Elias. Coming up at Live at 5, I'll tell you all about that.
And UAB's Blazers prepare for battle in the Final Four. Those stories and more ahead.
The fun and excitement of Wheel of Fortune spins your way at 6:30, following Channel 6 News. Now, from Alabama's source for news and information, this is Channel 6 News, live at 5, with Scott Richards, Brenda LeDunn, weather with meteorologist Mike Royer, and Gil Tyree with sports.
Who fell into the rapids below Nakalula Falls. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on Channel 6 News Live at 5. I'm Scott Richards.
And I'm Brenda LeDunn. Rescue teams say there is little hope left that 16-year-old Leslie Kaler will be found alive.
She slipped and fell into the water beneath Nakalula Falls last night. Kendra Veach is at the scene right now, comes to us via our mobile newsroom, Skylink 6. Kendra, you've been with those rescue.
The former president could be called to testify later in the trial.
Should doctors have to tell you if you should buy only brand name drugs when you fill a prescription? Coming up, we'll tell you about the battle over generic drugs.
And next, we'll show you how some egg producers have tried to crack the cholesterol problem caused by eggs. That story coming up on HealthCast.
And that the use of generic drugs must be encouraged.
And coming up later in sports, how confident are the UAB Blazers that they can beat St. John's? Well, tonight you'll hear from the players.
And next, meteorologist Mike Royer will tell us if these warm temperatures will be sticking around. First, let's take a look at Wall Street, where unofficial figures show activity was the slowest of the year.
Then tomorrow, partly sunny, chance of an afternoon thunder shower, 83 the high temperature tomorrow, 62 the low tomorrow night. And then on Wednesday, thunderstorms likely, a simple forecast and a high temperature of 75 degrees. Our radar showed a scattered shower up north of Tupelo, Mississippi earlier this afternoon. That has dissipated, not seen any precipitation now. Probably won't see any till maybe tomorrow evening, but then we'll see some Wednesday. Just plan on it. It's going to be a wet day.
That'll be welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Auburn's women's basketball team is going out for the Final Four of the NCAA tournament. Gil Tyree will have the team.
And next, UAB Blazers talk about their big game tonight. We'll have
Earnhardt, third place finish at Richmond. Number 1, Kowicki 2, Waltrip, Marlin, and Bodine. Take a look at the next 5. Wallace, Wilson, Schrader, Waltrip, Mike Waltrip, and Rick Mass rounding out the top 10.
All right. Thanks, Gil. Let's keep our fingers crossed for UAB tonight.
Go Blazers.
That's right. Well, some area school students are on their way to the nation's capital, but they've already learned some lessons along the way.
Coming up, we'll show you how they learned a lot about how important transportation is. Now let's take a look at some of the stories coming up at 6 o'clock. Janet?
Well, Scott, we'll have a live report from a public hearing that should be starting any moment now. It's about dog racing in Jefferson County. Now, dog racing, not horse racing. Local lawmakers will be hearing plenty about that tonight, and we'll show you how it all ties in with the Turf Club's plans. Also in Tuscaloosa, a local minister is asking that the classic novel of Mice and Men be taken off a high school recommended reading list. And Birmingham students were not in school today because of snow. That's right, this was a snow day.
It was very hard to believe with the temperature outside. Thanks, Janet. Well, it seems you don't always get what you pay for. That's what a group of students from Green Valley and Rocky Ridge Elementary Schools had learned. The kids were scheduled to go on a trip to the nation's capital yesterday and had reservations for almost a month now. But because of a mix-up, they almost didn't get to go at all. Jonathan Elias explains how they got on the road again.
These 80 students are boarding buses bound for the nation's capital. They were supposed to have been aboard an Amtrak train yesterday. Instead, they were left standing on the train platform with no tickets to ride.
It was canceled yesterday for some reason that they overbooked, and they told us we couldn't get on, and they called us out there, and the train just left.
Took my children up, got them on the platform ready to load the train, and the representative from Alabama Limousine came and told us she was sorry, but we had no tickets for the train and that we couldn't ride the train. We would have to make other arrangements to get to Washington yesterday.
$100, $200, $300, $400 is how much each student paid for their week-long trip to Washington, D.C. They were supposed to have gotten there by train, but reservations that were made through Alabama Limousine somehow got mixed up, and now they're having to settle on getting there by bus.
All the kids were disappointed, and we paid early. We paid February 20th. They said the tickets had to be bought by March 1st. And we felt the tickets had to be purchased by March 1st. What was the mix-up?
Their amazement and confusion equaled ours. We did not know why then. We still don't know why.
The parents cheered as the buses pulled out, and the students are happy to know that they will finally get to see the place that they have spent so much time studying about, Washington, D.C. Jonathan Elias, Channel 6 News, live at 5.
I guess better late than never is the operable phrase. That's our first report of the news for now.
Have a good night.
For the second time in 2 weeks, a bridge has collapsed in Tennessee. Good evening, I'm Terry Denard. We'll have more on that accident on Channel 6 News Weekend at 10 o'clock. Also, the city of Birmingham is hosting hundreds of people who work in city administration around the country. We'll tell you about that. And officials in Illinois are looking for a few millionaires. Join us for these stories. Ron Willow with today's sports news, and Dave Pilot with your week's weather forecast, all tonight on Channel 6 News Weekend at 10 o'clock. Good evening, I'm Terry Denard. You're watching A Deadly Silence on Channel 6. Watch After Hours tonight at 12:05, only on Channel 6.
Now, from Alabama's News Channel, Scott Richards, Shannon Hall, James Spain with the weather, Rick Carley with sports, and Six on Your Side with Brenda LaDonna. Alabama's news source. This is Channel 6, the Alabama Evening News.
The scene in East Alabama as waters rise. And in central Alabama, where an apparent tornado left a path of destruction. And this is the scene near Birmingham, where part of a major road is giving way. Good evening, I'm Scott Richards.
And I'm Janet Hall. Thanks for joining us tonight. The most serious problem right now, flooding and how to deal with it. 5 rescue workers formed a chain to pull Larry Hendricks across floodwaters. The man had passed out after working to get his family removed from their stranded home. Hendricks was admitted to DCH Regional Medical Center. He's doing okay tonight.
Now, flooding is far from the only problem tonight. When we come back, the aftermath of tornado-like conditions.
But first, a look at more scenes from Alabama communities hit by this rough weather.
Oh, fine. I'm not sure. See.
Here's an arithmetic question. How many dollars worth of pennies does it take to fill an 8x4 fish tank? We'll show you in just a few minutes.
And when we come back, James Spann updates the weather situation for tonight and the weekend.
And on the weather tonight, we're going to spend a lot of time on hydrology with this river flooding. That's a big problem. We'll talk a lot about that, plus the possibility of more rain next week. And here's the weather school question for tonight. This deals with barometric pressure, something that was very low at this time yesterday. Barometric pressure is caused by the wind, the Earth's rotation, or the air. We'll have the answer for that in a few minutes, becoming more likely Monday through Wednesday of next week. And let's hope we don't have excessive rainfall this time.
That's not what we wanted to see.
Yeah. Barometric pressure is caused by the
air.
You guys say air, and of course, air molecules weigh something, and it's that weight that exerts pressure on the Earth's surface.
All right. Thank you, James.
Well, how long will the baseball lockout last? Might be able to talk to former baseball manager.
And you'll get the latest from Dave as our Speed Week coverage.
Now we heard from Rick Carley at 5 o'clock live from Daytona. We mentioned that some of the guys are having handling problems there. The crews either setting the cars up maybe too loose or too tight, but don't blame them for the troubles. The weather really playing havoc with the track. 1 minute it's sunny, the next minute it's cloudy, heating the track up and just cooling it down.
We haven't figured out the right combination yet. We still didn't have the car handling right. That's what we're having to work on now because so many other people have made so much progress.
And tonight at 10, we'll hear more about Davey Allison. You know, he's got a brand new baby.
Yeah.
And so trying to keep the racing team together, trying to keep his wife, you know, traveling with him. And now they got the baby to contend with, as you will soon learn all about that.
A young man with a lot on his mind.
That's right. And also we ought to mention that Alabama tomorrow plays Kentucky down in Tuscaloosa at 7:30. Rick Pitino's guys really playing well. And we got to wonder now about Alabama. They've lost 2 in a row. And we got to wonder if, you know, if they're going to be able to win this one.
Thank you, Mike.
Sure.
A lot of folks are sick and tired of water tonight. One woman, though, is full of joy.
We'll bring you her story when we come back.
Michael Jordan turned in the 9th highest individual scoring performance in NBA history last night. He scored a career-high 69 points and 18 rebounds, plus 6 assists and 4 steals as the Chicago Bulls clinched a playoff berth. The Bulls defeated Cleveland 117-113 in overtime. What does it take to get your home video on America's funniest home videos? The answer when the news at noon continues.
Now, from Alabama's News Channel, Terry Denard, Dr. Ted Klemaszewski and the Doppler 6 forecast, and Ron Grillo with sports. Alabama's #1 source for news. Live, this is Channel 6 News Weekend.